This is my first time posting here, but I've been following this subreddit for a while now. The year is 2003. I'm a 15-year-old boy and living in a small city. This is a place where everyone seems to know everyone. I am typically shy and often use the internet as a way to meet people. During this time, the instant messenger, ICQ, was still pretty popular amongst the teens in my area. I would often stay up late adding new people and chatting them up. I would do this by searching by city and adding people I knew from school. This is how I met her. Her name was Sarah. We began chatting innocently enough, the normal, "Hey, what's up?" sort of deal. Now, Sarah was a self-described 17-year-old girl. Short, brown hair and nerdy. We hit it off pretty fast. We had so much in common, and I found it easy to open up to her. Although I thought it was strange that I had never seen her in school. I go to the Christian school, explaining why I had never seen her. We continued chatting for some time, and I eventually gave her my home phone number. We chat regularly over the phone, until eventually she asked, "Would you like to hang out sometime?" Without hesitation, we make plans for me to go over to her house, hang out, and watch movies. The day finally comes for us to hang out. I make my way across town to the address she gave me. It's a small apartment building. Slightly confused on how she and the rest of her family would fit in such a small apartment, I make my way up the stairs. I knock, and I am immediately greeted at the door by a woman, maybe in her late 20s or early 30s. I knew this was Sarah, but she didn't look anything like she described. I was instantly weirded out, but followed her into her small one-bedroom apartment. I stupidly asked, "So, are your parents home?" She laughed. "No, it's just me." I'm now sitting awkwardly on the couch. "Do you drink?" She's looking at me across the room. "Water," I joke. We both share an awkward laugh as she pours me a glass of wine. I never take a sip of it. She sits close to me after popping in a bootleg copy of Finding Nemo. "My brother got this for me while it was still in theaters. He's like a hacker or something," she giggles. At this point, she's very close to me. I am uncomfortable, and being the weirdo I am, I shift to the floor. I am now sitting on the floor with my back against the couch. She then straddles me from behind. "You look so tense." She begins rubbing my back. "I'm really good at this. I can make you feel so good." I lean forward. "Thanks, but you don't need to do that. I'm fine." I explain that I should be going. She points to her bedroom. "You can stay the night. I've never had a guy stay in my bed." She keeps making sexual advances, telling me how she hasn't had sex in so long, and she just wants to meet a nice guy like me. All the while, she keeps touching my arms and face. Now, at this point in my life, I was still a virgin, but this lady was not going to be the one to change that. I talk my way out of the situation and head home. The next few days, I get several messages telling me she misses me and she's sorry. Eventually, I cave and respond to one of her messages. I ask her why she lied and what her deal is. She tells me she has a hard time meeting friends and that she doesn't like people her own age. I feel bad, forgive her, and we make plans to talk in person. Here I am, at my last encounter with Sarah. I ride my bike back to her apartment. Once inside, I am greeted not only by her, but her parents too. They introduce themselves. "Finally, we get to meet Sarah's boyfriend," her dad jokes. "We've heard so much about you." "She's always going on about how great you are," her mom follows up. In my head, I'm freaking out. I am not this girl's boyfriend. Sarah grabs my hand and laces our fingers. She looks so happy. Her parents are just stopping over to pick something up, and were actually on their way out of the door when I showed up. If I was going to get out of here, now would be the chance. I grabbed the box her mom was about to pick up. I'll take that down for you. Her mom smiles. You're a keeper. I help her parents load the box in their SUV and hop on my bike. I was just swinging by to say hi. I should probably get home. Sarah wraps her arms around me and kisses my cheek. I ride home confused and plan on never talking to that girl again. She dropped me a few messages I never responded to. She called the landline a few times, but we never spoke. I don't know whatever happened to her. I don't know why her parents didn't question my age, or if they were just okay with it.
My life's been pretty good up to now. I'm 23 years old, and I live with my husband. We've been together for 2 years, and everything is great. A couple of nights ago, we stayed up and talked about the past and about the creepy things that had happened to us when we were younger. I've always told him that my childhood was bad. I was abused, and my family was always kind of weird. Anyways, I was 15 years old when I met an older guy online. He was maybe 30. I don't remember his age exactly. I knew that it wasn't maybe the best idea to talk with an older person, but well, I thought that it's okay because we talked about history, psychology, and literature. I was bullied at school, and because of my family, I always had my eyes on a book. This was my means of escape, and that's why for me, talking about art, history, literature, and psychology was enjoyable. We talked online for a couple of months and decided to meet. I knew about stranger danger and told my mom that I'm meeting a new friend that I met online. She didn't mind. That pissed me off, but whatever. So I told my friends and I met him in a park. I don't remember exactly why, but he kind of made me happy and I had a pretty good time. I didn't even realize that when we talked and walked, we were in another place. It was still the park, but more quiet, without people. He had some wine with him, and we drank it. Because I was underage and a pretty good girl, I got drunk quite quickly, but I still managed to think pretty clearly. Even though I was 15, I knew people, and I wasn't that stupid. So I kind of acted like I was more drunk and stupid than I was, and he kissed me. It was interesting, but something about him made my skin crawl, and I was creeped out. I let it slide, and after that one kiss, we sat on a bench and talked. That's when I knew the best thing for me to do is just to run. I can't remember exactly what he told me, but basically he started asking me those weird questions that, well, no normal person would ever ask. Like, do you enjoy pain? Have you ever watched an autopsy? There were much more creepier things that he asked. I didn't know what to say, and I felt kind of sick, and I started to go into a panic. He put his hands over my shoulders and said,
I googled you. You draw pretty dark things. I enjoy dark art too. I even have many nice pictures of women being tortured in my bedroom. I can make you become a woman today if you want. It can be our little secret.
At that point, I was in full panic mode. I looked into his eyes, and there it was. Weird silence. Blank stare. Kinda angry. I noticed that there was no one around us, and it was so dark. I knew that if I would run at this moment, he would totally catch me, and even if I would scream, no one would find me. I must say that he was in pretty good shape and taller than me. And I was, well, maybe 55 kilograms, approximately 121 pounds, and well, 167 centimeters tall, approximately 5 foot 5 inches. I was skinny, so I just smiled back and said, sure, let's go. It's nice to find someone who likes dark art too. I took the wine bottle and drank a little. I wanted him to think that I really am a stupid girl. When we got up, He had his hand around my waist. It was a little bit painful. It seemed like he indeed was worried that I might run, or it felt like he was afraid of losing me. We walked into the old town, and his hand kind of touched me more painfully and in a panic. I kind of looked to see if maybe there is a shop or something where I could go inside. I still wanted him to think that I wasn't afraid, or that I didn't think anything would happen. So I thought that walking in silence may not be a good idea. So I asked him a question, and as soon as I asked it, I regretted it. Do you have pets? I know that it was a random and weird question, but I was, at that moment, not thinking straight anymore. His hand was now hurting me, and he looked at me with a weird, amused face.
I don't like animals. I had 2 cats, but well, I killed them.
I just looked at him in horror. I'm a huge animal lover, so at that moment, I just could not pretend any longer, and I started crying a little. He put his hands around my head. The weird part was that he smelled my hair and just whispered,
If you scream or run, I'm gonna find you. Your family is famous in a little country like this. Finding you is so easy.
So he wiped my tear from my face and he smiled, like everything was okay. He took my hand and we walked. He had his car keys in his hand now, and I started thinking that, well, is it my last day on Earth? There was a parking lot at the end of the street, so we had maybe like 2 to 3 minutes more to walk, and I felt like I wanted to puke. But I was lucky. Just freaking 2 minutes and I would have sat in a car, and no one would have known what happened to me. We were walking, and I heard one of the bullies screaming on the other side of the street. But I think that even though she was a bully, she was still a girl, and I think we silently communicated with our eyes. She just kind of changed her behavior and ran towards me, screaming in a cheerful tone, "We were all waiting for you. It's so nice to see you." I felt pain in my hair, and I just heard cursing from the guy. To be honest, at that point, I didn't care about him. I just looked at that girl, and I just walked as fast as I could. I think I cried with her at least an hour before feeling kinda okay. I had to take a shower, and I deleted my account. He didn't contact me, and after a while, I kind of felt stupid. I should have noticed what car he got into. I should have never deleted my account. I went online and found that he deleted his accounts, and that the name that he presented himself as didn't exist. Even now, even though I'm 23, I kind of read the news or watch the television and think, over the last couple years, there have been many missing girls in here, and so I hope that it wasn't him. Even though I was 15 when I met him, and it's been many years, I still feel like he's going to hunt me for the rest of my life.
So, like many people on here, I've been lurking on here for quite a while now. After reading many interesting and horrifying stories, I decided to share one of my own. Names in this particular story have been changed. It was December, and Christmas was right around the corner. It was late, around 3 a.m. or so. I was sick, so I was on a strange sleep schedule at this time. I was bored, and none of my friends were online, so I decided to venture into a site called Omegle. I went on there quite often at the time, mainly to troll people, but tonight I decided to have some actual conversations with people. Big mistake. So I decided to talk to people under the anime tag, because people on there seem generally cool for the most part. Of course, there's always horny teenagers looking for a girlfriend no matter what tag you're on. I eventually find someone who isn't a bot, and who doesn't immediately ask age, sex, location. We'll call her Azula. Azula asked me what my favorite anime is, and I jokingly said Fat Albert. I knew I said I didn't want to troll, but I couldn't help myself. A conversation ensues after that, about anime and such, and she seems like a genuinely decent person. She then asked for my email. I gave her my spam email, knowing that there's no real harm in giving that out. So we continue our chat in a Google Plus Hangout. She starts to ask to video chat. I declined, telling her that I don't even voice chat with my real friends. But she keeps on persisting, and I keep telling her no. I was starting to think that she was actually some pedophile. I told her that I don't feel comfortable revealing my face to anyone online, and I really don't want to voice chat. She then says that she'll send me a picture of her face if I send her a picture of mine. So I let her send hers first. I then did a reverse image search to see if the photo was fake. Nothing came up anywhere, so I knew that it wasn't fake. So, reluctantly, I took a picture of myself and sent it to her. I figured it couldn't do any harm. She then kept persisting to video chat. I kept telling her no. I then turned my computer off because I was tired and annoyed. I didn't really think much about it, but I was planning on blocking her the next day. A day later, I get on my computer and I was about to block her, but as soon as I got on, she messaged me immediately. At this point, I thought she was either stalking me or had no life and was at her computer all day. So I went ahead and talked to her. She apologized for being pushy and explained that she didn't have many friends and just wanted to get to know me. And I said it was fine. So we talked about anime, as well as video games and such. A normal conversation for me. The next day, we talk again. She wants to video chat. I told her that I'd voice chat, since I did that all the time. Once we were in the voice call, she kept asking me to turn my camera on. Her camera was on, so at this point, I was sure she wasn't a 40-year-old man. I told her that I didn't feel comfortable doing that though. She said that she wanted me to video chat to make sure I wasn't a 40-year-old pedo. My voice was quite deep, so I understood why. So, again reluctantly, I turned my camera on. After that, everything seemed to be okay. I could tell there was something wrong, but I figured she was just socially awkward. After that, things were okay for a few weeks, but one day, she randomly told me that she had a crush on me. And I told her that I don't do online relationships, and she got really depressed after that. She kept saying how every guy, 5 in total I believe, has turned her down, and she's really sad about it. I didn't really know what to do at this point. I felt really bad for her, because I knew how it felt to be rejected, and how awkward it is to stay friends with them afterwards. So, I made one of the dumbest mistakes of my life. I said that I actually did like her back. Nowadays, there's no way in hell I would have done any of this. But I was 14 at the time. I was young and dumb. So just keep that in mind. So I was basically in a fake, fabricated online relationship at this point. I didn't consider her my girlfriend, and only one of my friends, we'll call him Eric, even knew about her existence. In fact, one day he was in a group chat with us. That's when things started to get a little strange. In the group chat, we had a decent conversation, but it got weird after I left. Azula started asking Eric really personal questions about me. Eric gave her the runaround, telling her that she should be asking me this stuff. She was asking questions like what my last name was, where I lived, etc. Eric didn't tell me about this, but I saw in the group chat. I thought it was really strange that she would be asking him these questions, knowing that I would see them when I got back. Anyway, at this point, she kept asking me what my last name was. Remember, Azula was very persistent, and she wouldn't stop asking a question even if he declined. So I found out that she goes on Facebook and searches every person with the same first name as I do. My name is fairly common, so there's a lot of people on there with my first name. And I couldn't believe it. She spent days trying to find my Facebook. I'd never seen so much dedication. Red flags were definitely going off at this point. She eventually finds my Facebook and sends me a friend request. I decline it because I was very pissed that she was invading my privacy. She then started messaging me on Google Hangouts, asking me about my family members. My friends on Facebook weren't on private for some reason. She literally wrote down a list of them all, asking them how they were related to me. I got really scared at this point. I knew I had a stalker, and I did not know what to do. I blocked her on everything, and deleted everything on the net that had my real name in it. I had officially went rogue. She eventually emails me on another email of mine. Don't ask me how she found it. I honestly have no clue. Perhaps it was on my Facebook before I deleted it. Anyway, she spams that email with countless messages per day. I blocked her, and the email stopped. I didn't hear from her for about a month. Then, one day, I accidentally delete an important email, so I went to my trash to recover it. In my trash, in morbid curiosity, I had read some of the emails. What I found was nothing short of frightening. She told me that she thinks there is something wrong with her. Say it isn't so, and that she enjoys and gets off on the pain of others, and she said that she knows where I lived, and was going to fly over here and live with me. I was so scared at this point. I was honestly worried that she was going to kill me. I deleted that email account, and have been off the grid ever since. So, crazy sadistic stalker on the internet. Let's not meet ever again.
Just to put into context, I am currently a 21-year-old female living in a fairly small town in Canada. Approximately 1,600 people reside here, and not a whole lot of shocking news happens either. This story happened when I was about 13 years old, back in the MSN days. My dad had recently put a huge boxy computer into my room. Right away, I downloaded MSN, as that's what everyone was using to communicate at school with. Every day after school, I'd hop online and chat with my friends and whoever I had a crush on that week, all while playing silly computer games. After about 6 months of having this computer in my room, some unknown person wanted to add me on MSN. I accepted, and she told me she was 14 years old. We chatted for a few days when she starts telling me she's getting bullied from her friends about her breast size, 'cause they were small. I was trying to tell her that it doesn't matter and that they are just jealous. She asked if she could send me a few pictures and tell me what I think. By now I'm thinking this is weird, but I tell her sure. She sends them to my email and kept asking me what I think. I kept telling her they were fine when she asks if I can send her one of mine so she can compare. I was trying to tell her no, but then I thought, why not? I know, I'm naive. I sent her one and she gushes about mine and how pretty I am. Then she starts asking for more, but of different body parts. I finally put my foot down and told her no. She starts getting mad and calling me names, telling me she's going to send me viruses if I don't. I just block her and forget about it. I start thinking that it was actually a pedophile doing it. I'm pretty sure, at least. A week later, I get another request from a different email. I accept, and right away they start asking me to go on cam. I tell them no, I don't want to. Then they say what they want me to do on cam. Sexual stuff. That if I don't, they are going to send me a virus and will know if I block them again. So I blocked them. An hour later, I get an email saying they know I blocked them, and if I don't unblock, they will destroy my computer. I'm freaking out at this point. I don't tell anyone because I don't want to get in trouble and get my computer privileges taken away. I had a weekend sleepover at a friend's that night, so I go on and try to forget about it. I didn't go on the computer for a month. When I finally did, there were no viruses, thankfully. I never accepted another email I didn't know, and it was fine, up until I got my first phone. Maybe about 7 months into having my phone, I get a text from a random number. It's a girl, and they are asking me for help. They just got out of the hospital from being in there for a few months because she got ran over by a car. This wouldn't be the hospital here because it has only the emergency room. If you had to stay in a hospital, you'd be in the next town over. She said her boyfriend was being mean and wouldn't pick her up. Then she started talking about her boobs, and right away I know it was this person again, saying her friends were making fun of her because they were so small. I told them I remember who they were and tell them off. They start getting mad and threatening me, saying they know where I live and everything. How did they even get my number? I didn't and still don't have it on Facebook. I should have told someone then, but once again, I didn't want to get into trouble for whatever reason. I am very timid. You can raise your voice even the slightest, and I'll cry. So I just ignored them, and eventually they gave up. Fast forward to when I was 19. I moved out and into a small apartment with my then boyfriend and a friend. We were having a get-together with all of our friends, bought some booze and drugs, and played board games. At about 11 p.m. or so, I get a text from an unknown number saying, "Hey." I still kept the same number, just different phone. They sent me the picture I sent them when I was 13. They kept it all these years. By now I'm livid and say, "Listen up. When I sent that photo, I was underage. So if you are in fact a pedophile, then you have a photo of someone underage. I have your phone number, and I also have a cop who lives a couple houses down. I'm going to bring this information to him, and they will trace it back to you, you disgusting pervert." I never got a response back. I ended up changing my number a year later and haven't heard from them since. In hindsight, I should have went to the cops a long time ago. Who knows who they have done that to? I never did go to the cops because I just wanted it to be over with. I never told anyone my story until last year when I told my delusional, deranged, and manipulative ex, who was accusing me of cheating and sending nudes to people. I haven't sent any nudes since the first incident and will never send anyone nudes. Doesn't matter how long I'm in the relationship for. It definitely screwed me up. Creepy Mina here of the WorstNightmare channel. I am so very grateful to Scarystuff 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 Ding for doing this collaboration with me. I had arranged to do it with another horror channel creator, and it fell through, and he agreed to do it, to step in, and I really can't say how much I appreciate that. So please check out his channel and send him some love. Subscribe to him if you haven't already. You probably already do. And also, please go on Reddit and upvote these 4 stories, because the poor people have been waiting for quite some time for them to go and be represented here on YouTube. So please do that if you have a Reddit account. If you don't, consider making one. It's a very interesting site to be involved in. And so, all the other normal stuff, thumbs up, give me a comment, share, and always remember, stay safe.